Let's go.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for saying yes to this. I really appreciate it. Been following you for quite a while. I think I came to become aware of you through Santos Bonacci a couple of years ago.
Wait,
He spoke highly of you, and yeah, I've been following you a lot ever since. I've watched 20, 30 hours of your interviews and different things, and I really love how you present the topic, how you are with people. I love your demeanor, and I it's inspiring for me and helps me to be how I want to be when I have my conversations with everyone on my Instagram page. So thank you.
it is super frustrating, and it is. I won't say it's easy, but it's gotten easy. It's just like we all have to remember we were all there when you first heard about flat Earth.
Exactly.
What did you do?
Exactly. I think I came in and out a couple of times thinking it was so stupid. And then there's one video that you show that I really resonate with. The one where we look out and we can see the curve like we're looking on a plate. I remember just before I cracked, I was out on a boat on the ocean and I'm looking out to the sea and I can see the curve and I'm thinking, fuck, man, like there's a curve there, like it's not flat. And then literally the next day or a couple of days later, like other things came through, and then I realized that that's what we're seeing, and it's not a curve that way. And from there, it just that one,
Yeah,
um, yeah,
that's
and
how
then
we see.
like
Yeah, people don't
yeah,
realize that we see in a circle. And if you listen to
yeah,
Austin Whitsitt, I hope you do. Um, he is pointed. He's renamed our what we call the personal atmospheric dome to the azimuthal grid of vision, because the Globers now can't deny that, because that's what stellarium uses, the azimuthal grid of vision. We all see as far as we can see in all directions, and that creates a personal dome over us. That's our azimuthal
yeah.
grid of vision, and it's curved. We could This line is the same distance as this line, is the same as this line, and it's curved. To think that you can
Yes.
look to the side and see as far away as straight in front of you and have them line up on a straight line doesn't work that way.
I do get a little confused, not confused, but there's a contradiction with that. Like one time I went to the coast down near where I live and I was up on a cliff top and I was able to see the coast like 20 kilometers each way. So it's like 40 kilometers distance. And then for me to imagine how that was out in the distance, like it's pretty far. And then I thought there would have to be some sort of curve if we're seeing 8 inches per mile squared drop. Um, yes, so that it was a little bit conflicting for me in that scenario. Does that make sense?
Well, you're seeing, so the sky you can see infinitely, right? But the
Yeah.
sky comes and it meets the earth at the same distance in all directions around you. So now you're looking straight out at the water and you say, okay, it's 20 miles that way and 20 miles that way. You don't realize that the horizon, the horizontal eye zone, is curving, but the sky keeps on going. So if you just lift your eyes above that, you're actually seeing farther, but you're not seeing the limit of your vision. You're seeing the sky further, so you can imagine that you're seeing 40 miles straight. Yeah, you can see that in the sky. The sky you can see unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's where it's the sky and the air come together. Just like in this image here, the sky and the water. This cloud, technically is the same height as this cloud, but it all comes
Yes.
together, and that's the limit of your vision. And then people don't
Yeah.
realize how how that works. I mean, have you seen this? I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so we got these clouds, right? This is I put it together, and
Hmm.
we know that all these clouds are at the same height, but they get lower. So we have the grass, we have the pier, we have these lights, some boats. Okay. So your human experience is telling you some certain things. Well, these clouds are higher than everything else. These light posts are higher than the pier. The grass looks to be a little bit higher than the pier, maybe a step down a foot or so, right? And then the water
Yeah.
is lower than the pier, otherwise it would cover the pier, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you there's a photograph in this picture that you've seen a million times?
How do you mean?
It's the Great Pyramid
Ah,
of Giza.
yeah, cool.
And so this is high. It's not far. Okay. Look, this is
Yeah,
the actual photo of the Great Pyramid of Giza, but you put it into different contexts. This is how our eyes see, our brain interprets. So if I told you that this was way higher than this light post, you'd be like, no way. Right. But
yeah,
it's how our eyes work.
yeah. No, I totally understand that, and I get that it's happening from all angles, and wherever we look, that vanishing point's happening out in front. Um, that's an interesting point, or leads me to one point with the. We can jump straight in. I mean, I was going to ask you about your story and to share that, because I know there's a lot of people on my Instagram that know you, but there's probably a lot that don't. Do you think that's valid to go there, or just want to keep
Yeah,
going
sure,
like
sure.
that?
Where are you located? Sound
I'm in
Australian.
Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Sydney.
You sound Australian. That's why.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, my story, I'm in a nutshell. I was born on the East Coast in the US. I went to college, went into work, went to graduate college, went into business world, worked my way up there, left the corporate America, started my own company, and I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole just for fun on the side, looking into, the many deceptions that are cast over humans. And they just kept piling up and piling up. And then Flat Earth came in, was introduced. And I, like any normal, smart human being, I shunned those people, called them idiots, and banned them from our social media for even suggesting that I looked at something so stupid. But then I was forced by my good friend Sophia Smallstorm, a great researcher into 9/11 and Sandy Hook and all that. And I went in with a closed mind to try to disprove flat Earth. It's so stupid, right? And that's how you become a flat earther. So, um, discovering flat Earth does, why the lie? What difference does it make? I have to go to work on Monday. That's programmed. That's program nonsense. I said the same thing. Everyone says it. Actually, when someone says that, I say that's a pretty smart person at first. It's really stupid thing to say, but somebody that gets to the point, they're realizing they don't have any more excuses. So they, why the lie? I need to know why.
Yeah.
Okay. And the truth is, you don't really need to know why, because the evidence is overwhelming. You walk into a room with a whole bunch of dead people, you don't go, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't see the motive. No,
Yeah.
you look at the evidence and then you figure out why the lie. But the why the lie is the one that gets people, because they're hiding everything from you. They're hiding the creator, they're hiding your power, they're hiding free energy, food, resources. They're
Yeah.
hiding more land, more people, more technology, all sorts of stuff, hiding our history, and it changes everything.
I totally agree. Even for myself, going through that transition and how I felt and how I feel is so different to being in the lie. We're literally living a lie when you're on the very ground that we're walking on. It's not true. Believing that we're on a spinning ball. It's just not true.
Yeah, and that depowers you. If you're spinning out of control on and you're an insignificant speck on an insignificant speck in an endless universe, you've just deluded yourself.
Yeah,
completely.
No, I totally agree. I'm totally 100% with you on that, and 100% with the importance of this. I used to do it. I used to share this stuff on my own personal page, but I had a business at the time and it was quite new, and I felt like that was being affected by me sharing this stuff, and that's why I ended up doing this heliocentric hoax incognito sort of identity, which has been great. I feel like I get to express myself like fully without getting any flack or anything like that.
That's the trolls' biggest thing is they go after people and try to they go after their jobs. They do anything to screw up people because they don't want people out there exposing the truth for some reason. And I always say, everyone goes, that person's a shill, and the person's a shill. They're either paid or possessed. I think that 99% of them are just possessed. They have other influences inside their body that are literally controlling them and having them, fight for their own slavery. It's only when people realize that people like you and I and all the other truth seekers out there, we're trying to free humanity from the heliocentric prison system.
Yeah.
So
I know, it's crazy. They don't realize, like I had an analogy the other day, actually, like they don't realize what they're up against when they're trying to argue the point with us, like what we've been through to get to where we are. And literally, I likened it to like trying to get a blind man to believe like being blind and not being able to see is better than being able to see. Like it's literally that important.
have you ever had anybody when you're trying to tell them stuff, they're like, what, do you want to know the truth? I mean, people like they make fun of you for wanting to expose the truth. And at that point, that's that point, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some pretty doozy conversations, and you can tell, I can tell the difference in the energy too, that what's coming, and if they are closed-minded and literally trying to prove me wrong, as opposed to being genuinely
Yeah.
interested in discovering it. And so I don't bother anymore with anyone that I know or feel is not interested, but I, at the same time, still want to help as many as I can.
There's too many people willing to listen, with proper information and encouragement. But the ones that think that they know everything and don't listen to you while you're talking, just leave. Just move on. Move on, because that's their journey. That's their journey, and they can have it. I don't want it.
Yeah, I agree. Amazing. Thank you for that. So there's a couple of things that, like, in watching all of the hours of watching you, and some things that I haven't heard you speak about that I was interested to get your point of view. One being, I've seen you speak about the eclipse, and when the eclipse is on, the other light source being outside. Do you at all follow Vibes of Cosmos, or believe in the Black Sun theory and stuff underneath, like the energy source being underneath, and the the Freemason logo being a representation of what's happening there?
So when you talk about vibes of the cosmos, are you talking about the black sun projecting up, to see
Yes.
or are you talking about the moon map?
Well, I was gonna get to that too. I was gonna get to the moon map as well, because I like both theories, the moon map, and I don't know if you know Martin Kenny.
Oh yeah. I know Martin well.
Yeah, his cosmic egg theory, because I really love the roaming stars being the sun and the moon of the outer realms, but then that doesn't really match the moon map theory. So that's another question I want to ask you.
Yeah. So, well, where do you want to start? The moon map?
I don't mind. Let's go with the original one. The black sun, or the light source, or the energy source being outside of the firmament, or inside under the ground.
Yeah, so that's the whole idea that it's coming from the center. I haven't been there. It's very possible. If you look at a what is it called? Where you go watch the stars at the
like a planetarium.
A planetarium. It's all projected from the center, and it works perfectly, right? So I wonder that, and again, anything above where we can reach or beyond 60 degrees south is all speculation. But I'm concerned. I'm thinking that perhaps all of the lights that we see in the center, in the sky, the northern stars are all projected from the center of the Earth somehow.
Yeah.
And then the southern stars are a reflection of those northern stars. They're literally doubled out. And I've seen so many videos comparing the rotation, and there's like, there goes the Big Dipper on both sides, right? And there's so many things. But again, the lights in the sky are no way to prove the shape of the Earth. It's interesting. We can speculate. And then Martin Kenny with his cosmic egg, that's amazing. That makes so much sense. Extraterrestrials come from the extra land outside of our, where we are. There's the book, The Iron Republic. I don't know if you know about that book.
No, so, I haven't read that one. No.
The Iron Republic. If you go in the app and you go to the books page, I hit books and scroll down. There's a book called The Iron Republic, and it's about a politician in New York in the 1800s, got fed up with the system, sold his house, sold everything, got a ship, went to Antarctica, and he found an opening. went and they kind of got sucked in it, and then he came out in the ocean again, and they were lost for I think it was like 3 months, and then they finally saw land. They're like, "All right, land," and they saw a city, and they waited until the morning, and then when they came out, when it was morning, a ship came out and greeted them, and they're like spoke English, and it's like, "Hey, we're from America. Where is this?" He goes, "This is the Iron Republic." I'm like, "Where's the Iron Republic?" And they go, "Well, it's on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance as the United States." And so they
Yeah.
landed, and he tells the story. This is 1901. This was published. No, yeah, 1901. No, that yeah, I think it was 1901. And talked about floating cars and flat screens and just a whole nother
Wow.
form of government. Lived there for years, got married, actually met someone, fell in love, got married, and something happened. I think she died. He got so distraught, got his ship back, came back, went to Florida, landed in Florida, and told the story. Now, whether it's
Wow.
true or not, doesn't matter. They were talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1800s, right? Oh, and the story of the Iron Republic, I think, was they used to live in the inner lands, but there was tyranny going on in the 1600s, so they left and they went to the outer lands,
Yeah.
right?
So crazy.
And then I also wonder, maybe low vibrating people, that haven't spiritually evolved can't travel out there. Just like I don't think humans can leave the earth, right? I don't think we can live in far off the surface of the earth for a long time. I think we're part of this living electrical system, and maybe you need to have a certain vibration to go out here. I don't know. It's all
Makes
interesting,
sense.
but extra land, extra territory, extraterrestrials makes perfect sense to me.
No, I totally agree. One thing I do get stuck on, and I guess that's moving more in towards the moon map, is that if Polaris is directly above the center, the North Pole, and then the map of the known Earth is towards the bottom right of the moon, then how does that work with the stars moving around and Polaris being in the middle of our known Earth? That's not like that doesn't take into account all the rest of the moon, because unless the whole our dome system moves along, but then that wouldn't work with the hole being underneath and the energy coming through, if you know what I mean.
That's a good point. The hole could be right here, and it's
Yeah.
projecting up this whole sky. This is our known world, right?
Yes.
This is our North Pole right here, and our North Pole travels every great year all the way around 26,000 years, and it takes its sun and stars and everything with it. Okay, so it's all processing around here. So in 12,000 years, the circle of our melted world will be here, and this will be frozen because there'll be no sun over here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the whole moon map thing, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
The
sure.
they took a lot of liberties. Vibes of the Cosmos, like, I kind of see it, but I don't see it. I don't see it enough. There's a video that came out yesterday as the day of this recording. Taboo Conspiracy mirrored it. I'm featuring it on the app next week. And it's a guy that is amazing. He took all the projection maps, showed how they work, showed how they all distort land, which they do, and he combined them properly and then applied it to the moon. If I was 55% there's something to the moon map, I'm now 95% that the moon
Yeah,
map
wow,
is
cool.
the real deal. You got to see it. Go to Taboo Conspiracy, or it's featuring on the app on what day? It's featuring on April 1st. Of course, April 1st. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. Okay. But it's absolutely amazing. So check that one out. You will have your mind blown. It's a 10-minute video, 15, I think 15-minute video.
Yeah, amazing.
It's
Well,
mind
that's
blowing stuff.
yeah, but that's the thing. I get so I totally think, believe that moon map to be totally true, but I also really like the multiple ring. Do you think that works on the moon map as well? Could they be combined somehow?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could have these multiple rings. We don't know. We don't know what's beyond Antarctica. Um, I like the multiple ring ideas with multiple suns. They always tell us, they always tell us the truth, but they're always lying. But they always tell us the truth. They say that the stars are binary, right? Most of the stars are binary, and our sun might have a well. If there was another sun rotating maybe in the opposite direction or even the same direction, in an outer ring, that's something that
Yeah.
I
I
always
mean,
say can't rule it out.
totally. I really like the thought that Mars and Venus are the moon and the sun of the outer ring, and then um, Saturn, Jupiter, the moon and the sun of the ring outside of that. It makes sense, like to be roaming.
It's all possible. Again,
Yeah.
And I did a little experiment where I had a glass dome and I had the sun and I was just running the sun over and it goes around. And then I took that sun and I brought it really far away, like to the next ring. And then you look, it now looks like a star. That sun, the light that was close, looked like a sun, and far away, it looked like a little star. So
Yeah.
again, this is all, I am 99% sure we're wrong about what we're saying. That we're 99% wrong. We got 1% right. Okay. But again, we don't need the sky. We don't need it would be nice to have Antarctica and the North Pole, because that would absolutely prove it. But those places are off limits. If we had access to them, but we don't need them. We can just test here. No curvature, no ball.
I agree.
No
I agree.
no
Yeah, totally agree. For me, and I don't really know what's outside there or how it really looks, but for me, like I'm happy to stand in that. We're definitely not on a spinning ball out in space.
Right. Yeah. Have you seen the measuring? If you go on,
yeah, I did.
Yeah, and it's
you can show it. Yeah, I've
so you can get the area of each continent, but when you try to do Antarctica, it won't give you. So it's off limits. Look at that, right? It's not doing it. Well, think about, because we're taking the edge and bringing it all, wrapping it together. This is kind of what it would look. That's kind of like what we circled, right? Then you go up and do the north. It's crazy. So we'll do the north. The two places in the world that would prove something won't let you measure it. Offline virtually. It's off limits virtually, and it's off limits physically.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why Antarctica doesn't work with that thing, but it doesn't really make sense that it does it at North Pole. It's bizarre, but anyway.
They don't want us going there. They don't want us to know how far it is. They don't want us to know anything. And now it's all water, right? Like look at old maps. It used to be land there.
Totally.
Yeah.
What would it take? Like, how would it be possible, and how could it be possible to get a big enough force to go and check it out?
So let me ask you a question.
What would it take, you think?
You agree that the elite are hiding the truth of our world from us, and that it is one of the most important secrets they have? Otherwise, they lose control, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Because when you wake up to the flat Earth, you unplug from the heliocentric matrix, right?
Yeah.
And so if we got a bunch of people together to go to the North Pole and we're totally going to expose the whole globe live, you think they're just going to sit on their hands? Oh, damn it, you got us. Damn it.
No,
they're going to stop you. They're going to stop you. They're going to, here's the thing. There's no communication. You go up there, you fly out south. Let's say they sabotage us, boom, crash the airplane, whatever, and then they say all these stupid flat earthers went and got themselves killed and cost millions of dollars in rescue missions, and everyone died. It's just like, I'm all for doing things, but we don't even need to go to that extreme. I have an experiment, a test that I think will definitively prove that we're on a flat earth, and it's only probably cost. We need an airplane, a film crew, and a small amount of equipment. My thing is go to Antarctica, 2 airplanes, and then fly around the shoreline of Antarctica, keeping it, one plane looks out the right window, the other plane looks out the left window, and we all watch flying at maybe 1,000 feet high. and you go around, and we should meet, 7,000 miles later. But you and I know that won't happen because it's like 68,000 miles, and they won't let us do that. So rather than whine and cry that they won't let us do it, or even try to get them to let us do it, which they won't, we can just fly here in south of the equator with a vertical gyro. Gyros hold rigidity in space, right? So you get a gyro and you turn it on its side and you line it up east west. A 3-axis got so no matter where you turn, no matter where the plane turns, this always faces east west. Not compass. It's a vertical gyro holding rigidity in space. You fly up and you say, okay, I'm going to go west. Now, you and I know that west is going to bear off to the right.
Yeah.
Right? And the compass will say the magnetic compass will say that we're going west, that we're going south in no time at all. This thing will show us that we're holding a straight line. But here's the thing: that doesn't prove flat Earth in the north or in the north, because it's the same on a flat Earth. West will curve off to the right. On a globe Earth, west will curve off to the right. Okay, do you know what I mean by that? Am I losing you?
Yeah. No, I do. No. I understand.
Right. So like if we're going west, right? I have to keep turning to the right because my compass needs to always point towards the center. So west is a circle. But in the south, on a globe, west will curve off to the left. Right? Because if we're south of the equator, think of it on a globe, I have to keep turning left around the South Pole to maintain a heading of west.
Okay, yeah.
In the north, I have to turn right to maintain a heading of west. But you and I know, south of the equator, west is going to peel off to the right. And the gyro would prove it. But we need a nice big plane with scientists on it, professors, camera crews, and document it. And that's not a big deal, but it's easily done. Easily done. The problem is the average person would be like, you lost me at gyro.
That's the thing though, and as well, like any video, we never really know like how legitimate it is and who are the people on there, and
well, that's
people
why
just need to test for themselves.
Let's let's get professors and astronomers and news people, whatever. You get a whole group of people. We'll invite Neil deGrasse Tyson, the failed actor, and Bill Nye, the lying guy, who's the failed comedian. But neither of them will come. We'll bring Joe Rogan. He won't come, right? But it doesn't matter. We'll do it. We'll show it. And nobody will care.
They won't. I watched a documentary just the other day, actually, called Convex Earth. Not that I believe that's the case, but there were some Brazilian scientists who were trying to prove that the once and for all that we're on a globe, and they had these big lasers and different things and GPS, and every time it came out it was flat. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. So that movie is it's a trap. It's a trap for flat earthers, because all of the experiments, I think there was like 4 or 5 experiments, they never showed how they did them. They never quantified the measurements. They didn't do anything. They just made a bunch of empty claims, and then they show this rock floating on Earth with another pond, outside of Antarctica. Cool, but they're showing it in heliocentric space. And then when you look into these guys, they're the ones that walk up to bushes and talk to aliens, right? And then you hear the alien talking back in a high squeaky voice. So these guys are here to discredit the movement. It's kind of like a secret hit piece, kind of like Behind the Curve was a hit piece. It's another one, and it sucks you in. Like you watch it, you're like, this is good, but go back and watch it again. Watch any of their experiments. Any of their experiments.
Yeah, right. Okay.
None of them show anything whatsoever. But if you want to see the best movies, if you have the app, you just go to the
Yep.
web button, and you scroll down to right here, full length videos, and the video
Yep.
list here. I tell people you can't get through the first 5 videos without becoming a flat earther. Okay,
Cool.
you can't. It's impossible. So it's right there.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And guess what? Google will not serve you these videos.
Yeah,
So
it's awesome.
that's why
Yeah,
they.
I didn't watch that other one until the very end. I did just like the experience, but like you said, I didn't look into it too deeply.
Have you seen the both Level movies, Level and the Next Level?
Yes.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
April
Multiple times.
22nd, 2023, coming up in a couple of weeks, which is Flat Earth Day, used to be known as Earth Day, is Level with Me, the third one. And I will contend
Cool.
there is nobody that can watch all three of those movies and walk away a globe earther. It's impossible. It's scientifically impossible.
I agree with you. One thing I didn't like about Level was just I don't like, because knowing the journey as you've been through, and me, and how you are, with everyone, I don't like to put them down, because I feel then it shuts them off from learning, or staying open to learn the truth. I felt Level was a little bit degrading in the beginning, so that's why I don't really send people to that movie, because I want them to learn.
Everybody has their own journey. I don't really remember that. And then Level 2, of course, I'm in it. That's not why I'm telling you to watch it. I think Level 2 was better.
Me too.
was better. And then this new one, from what I've seen so far, and I'm working with Sean Hibler, it's gonna blow the first two away. So that's why,
Cool.
Boom, 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 1, 2, 3, it's a knockout.
Yeah, amazing. Can't wait for that one.
Yep, and you'll be notified on the app with a big pop up when that comes up.
Cool. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
So another thing that I get confused with, going back to what we were talking about before, the vanishing point out in the distance, and with the rotating stars being dynamic, so it's a little more challenging to grasp. And then the reverse star trails in the South Pole. I wonder, like, how does that work? If I get that they will make the reverse circles, but is that just like, because if the whole outer edge is moving around, I don't get how that circle is not broken at some stage.
If the stars, and I'm not saying they are a reflection of the northern stars, then they would counter rotate on their own. Happen here. So let me just show you a little experiment that I did. So I have my this is my North Star on my plate here, and then this is the equator, and this is the state. If you look at star trails, north equator, the equator ones kind of go straight, the northern ones spin this way, and the other ones spin that way. There's a great explanation. Not saying it's it. To me, I kind of think it is. But if you watch, if you go back to on the app to the playlist, Southern Star Rotations, there's a whole bunch of videos here, a whole bunch that will really give you a good idea of other possibilities. Right? Again, you can't say this is it, or it's A or B. Are the stars doing this, or are they doing this? Well, there's probably 500 other things they could be doing. So again, there could be 4 points of southern rotation. We don't know. The whole sky, the stars not being physical and not being what they tell us, takes the motion of the stars off the table. They want us to believe that stars are burning balls of gas that have massive gravity, float, that are quadrillions of miles away, which is scientifically impossible. You can have a burning ball of gas in a vacuum. 2, you can't see the stars at the sizes that they tell you they are at these distances. The brightnesses, right? None of that works. When we zoom in on a star with a camera, how can we make it bigger if it's trillions of miles away? I could barely make the windows on the buildings in New York City bigger, and that's only like 30 miles away. Okay. And so if the stars aren't what they tell us, and when we send a balloon up at nighttime, looking at the stars, and the sky's filled with stars from when we can see the stars when it's on the ground. And by the time it gets to 60, 70, 80,000 feet, all the stars are gone. What does that tell you? That tells you that the motion of the lights in the sky have nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Even just the, what's it called, the sidereal day, with the rotation of the stars being different to the sun, like that's a big one for me. Like that's not possible if we're floating out in space, that the rotation of the Earth.
They tell us that the stars are so far away that that we can't see. I mean, they never change. There's no parallax because they're so far away. So you're familiar with Stonehenge, right?
Yeah.
So you know Stonehenge here in the United States, it's a monument that was built in Georgia, and
yep.
I think I have an image here.
Got torn down not long ago.
Yeah, well, it got torn down.
Do you think it got torn down to hide the truth?
I absolutely do think that, because the heliocentrists have two excuses why stars don't move. They're so far away that even though we're traveling 4.5 billion miles a year, there's no parallax, which is ridiculous, right? And then if you actually do the math on the sizes and brightnesses, none of it works. Okay, but they want you to think that, and then they also want you to think that that the Earth is wobbling, but it only moves 1 degree every 76 years, right? For the axial precession. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they want you to believe both of those. Okay. So when you're looking through a tiny little hole at a distant star, 433 light years away, ridiculous, the tiniest bit of motion, like a 0.5 degree of motion, would knock that star way out of that hole. Okay. It would move. It would move out of the hole. Well, it was up over 40 years. And now it's over a 0.5 degree. And it's still right dead center in that hole. Okay. This was becoming an unbelievable proof that the Earth does not move. And then, there's one on the pyramids. The Great Pyramid has a shaft that looks at the North Star too. But their argument there is, it used to look at Thuban 2,000 years ago. And it just by coincidence looks at Polaris now. But in 2,000 years, they'll be looking at another star. Like, shut
it's
up.
So crazy.
Shut up.
Totally. Even if the pyramids are in the same design as Orion's belt, isn't that right? And that just goes to show, like, however long the pyramids have been there, could be 10,000 whatever years, then the stars have not moved in that amount of time.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
All of our history is a lie. I'm doing a stream soon with Jake, who has the Instagram and TikTok. I'm the Improbable Dreamer, all one words. Write that down. Mm-hmm. He does amazing videos on our lost history. Doesn't make any claims who, what, where. He just says, look at this, look at this, look at this. They're lying. Okay. Yeah. And he shows you. And so, for us to figure out what caused the mud flood, who were these people, how were they, it's up to us to figure that out. But there's no denying that we had a way advanced civilization here, 150 years ago.
I agree. That's one of the biggest motivations for me. I would love humanity to get back to that, like having free energy and like it would just be amazing. And,
I'm sorry. Do you follow Autodidactic he's in Australia?
No.
Look him up. Autodidactic. He does another one with called Tatar something like Australia Tataria or something like that. He does a show, and they do some series on who built Brisbane. It's amazing.
Okay.
So look up Autodidactic. Who built Brisbane? Your mind is going to be blown. It's just like it's unbelievable. It's amazing. All right, sorry, I interrupted. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, like AWA was a big one for me too in the beginning. Yep. Watched his 5-hour one a few times, and that was a mind blower for me. Yeah, I really loved that. That was awesome. And Tataria is a different one. Like confusing, not confusing, but I think Awa came out to say that he was lying about all that too. He got compromised or something.
Well, so I don't know
Did you hear
what the
that?
story is. Again, no one knows who the guy is or seen the guy, and it's kind of interesting. You know, Crow 777 Radio interviewed him. He walked it back on a few things, but he didn't walk it back on everything. And I think he's wrong on a few things, but nobody gets it all right. Take what you
Mhm.
like, leave what you don't like. But there's no denying, um, you know, some of the some of the things. One of the arguments they have is they built these massive cathedrals and stuff. And it's like, how could they do that? Well, you could figure out a way where people could do that. But back when you had horses and buggies and there was not a lot of wealth, why would you do it? Okay, why? Right? And there's stuff
Totally.
that yeah, but there's stuff where under our Washington Monument, not the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, which is a giant building here in Washington D.C. It was built long before Christopher Columbus allegedly discovered America. Right there's photos of it standing there, and there's another building below it. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened? I'm not claiming to know, other than it's buried. It got buried. This world got buried in mud. Where did that mud come from? Okay,
Yeah, it's so crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
Think how that happened. Do you believe in the meteor craters being geysers for the water that created possibly the mud for that, or water coming out of that?
I think that there's the oceans of water below us and oceans of water above us. I can't figure out where the mud didn't come from. I mean, on a flat Earth, yeah, you can flood this place,
Mm.
and if you look into biblical stuff, the windows of heaven opened up. Okay, you
Yeah.
just need the mud will create itself with the water. Um, it's it, well,
But if that's the case, do you think it was a reset from the divine, taking over evil, trying to take over? Like possibly, I mean, it wouldn't be possible that an outside entity could create that. Seriously,
if you ask
that'd be
me,
crazy.
I think it's a well, it's hard, when you say natural or the creator. I think it's part of the same thing. The creator is
Yeah.
nature. We're all part of it. And why does it happen? Maybe it happens, when people just get too out of control and can't figure out what sex they are and everything else. They're like, okay, time for a reset. And if you look at it, I look at it like if I was a creator and I created this place and we're having all these little pieces of me, experience this world and expand their mind, right? Like I kind of vision us all as part of the creator, and we're here having these experiences, and everything's connected to everything. So it all goes back to the mind of the creator. So everything all of
Mhm.
us do is literally part of the creator's mind. Okay. And
Agree.
there's no such thing as death. And pure consciousness is non-physical up here, and we're spiraling down to the most dense level, and we're here in the earth, the most dense physical level. And if you have to wipe it out and start over, there's no such thing as death. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? The game's getting a little fucked up. Let's fix it. Start over. And and have a redo. Maybe. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying everybody just relax. We're trying to figure it out. I think that's our goal. I think we're supposed to be here to figure it out and help other people figure it out. And if people figured it out, this world would be amazing. There'd be no need for, crime or violence or anything,
I
because
agree.
there's plenty for everybody. We all had free energy, and there's no food shortage. Everybody,
No, I agree.
I lived in a little apartment a while ago, and I had two 10 by 15-foot squares, raised beds, and I fed the whole neighborhood. Two little tiny
Yeah.
things on the side of my driveway. I fed the whole neighborhood. Okay, I couldn't. We threw food away. We had so much food coming out of there.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
amazing.
People think that there's shortages, food shortages. There's intelligence shortages. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just literally a mindset and being stuck in the brainwashed way that we're being given to think that and to be told that, and but it's just not true. Yeah, I'd love it to go back to that. That's definitely, like I said before, that's my motivation and drive.
Well,
But then
that's
if that's the case, then that would be the little part of the creator, like you were saying before, fixing itself from the bottom up, as opposed to so interesting. Like, at what point, if you like, because where do you think it's heading actually with all this AI stuff that's coming out? I just saw a video just the other day of this filter over someone's face, and it was like embedded and morphed on there and looked totally different. But then she turned the filter off, and you could see it was a filter, but it looked really real. With
it's
Chat
crazy.
GPT,
Yeah, no
yeah,
kidding. And listen, there's the voice cloning. Watch my latest video. I took Simon Dan, who deserved a good rousing, and he's endorsing my app somehow. It's amazing. It's funny as hell. But you know, this stuff is here, and it's going to muddy the waters because people are going to be like, "Oh, that's fake. That's fake." They're going to claim everything's
yeah,
fake because everything is fake. Okay,
yeah,
so
it is.
we're gonna have to deal with that. But they're doing everything they can to give everyone every possible excuse to deny reality. And when the truth is, you know, they've been using this AI stuff. When Obama did his ISIS speech, his famous ISIS speech in the White House, that was AI. That wasn't even him. That was a hologram. That was when they that might have been the first time they tested it out, or just another test. But there were some glitches, and it was obvious. If you watch it today, you'd be like, "Whoa, that's so fake." Like watching the moon landing today. Like people back then believed it, and you watch it today, you're like, "Wait a minute." Right. And it's the same thing. You know, they're using the technology that we have today, 50 years ago. Um,
Yeah,
so, so, and the people just don't catch it. And we're catching it. Okay. And we're not putting up with it. And, we're literally one tweet away from going super viral. Okay. Literally, like, let's just say Justin
from
Bieber
who?
decided to wake the hell up. And he knows the earth is flat. Who Justin Bieber, who freaking cares? But he has 130 million followers. So one tweet, that could wake up the world, right? This is my app. These are the people that have my app, right? Let's go to Australia. Australia, you guys are waking up. Look at this. Where
Yeah,
are
it's
you
pretty cool.
located? Yeah.
Sydney, yeah.
Is this Sydney? This is the
No, it's
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Go up and right a little bit. Up and
Up
right.
and right. So this is Sydney right here. There you
Yeah.
go. Look at all these people. You should do a meetup.
Yeah, for sure. I have done a couple in the past. We watched level 2 actually. It was great.
Nice. So you know what you do is you go into the settings and you select 50 kilometers right there, right?
Hmm.
Hit save, and then you go to this button right here and say everybody within 50 kilometers, and you send them a message.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm
cool.
having a meetup at so and so and so and so. Boom, and then everyone shows up.
Yeah, amazing. Well, when the new level comes out, I might do that again.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
But use the app to reach people because there's people right in your backyard you don't even know,
Yeah,
right? And
totally.
then when blue dots get together, it's always a good time. I've never met a blue dot I don't like.
I agree. For me, it means such a lot, to be able to be walking around and not be drawn into the matrix, and to know that means there's a certain level of authenticity within someone if they know the earth is flat. That's how I feel.
Absolutely, and we're having a meet up here in America, in New York, right near me, April 29th, and I'm expecting over 100 people to show up, and it's going to be amazing. Just hang out, like every person. You don't know them, you talk to them. Literally, you have more in common with that person than your hometown best friend. Literally, you have
Yeah.
more in common with anyone there, male or female, than any dating site could ever match you with, right? Because
Yeah, I agree.
there's like so much in common, and there's so many people that have becoming best friends. People are getting married. People are having babies because flat Earth brings them together, and the app is connecting people. Right, we're almost at 100,000 on the Friend Finder. I'm thinking over 200,000 by next year, and it's gonna
How
take off from there.
how do you think that like is still alive and not being taken down? You know, if they don't let us go to Antarctica or to the North Pole, how is it like something like this is still available?
Well, I think that people being afraid is just not the way to be. They have to obey the rules. We live in this world of there's rules, maritime law, right? And they can't break it. They know it. They can't break our free will. They can only scare you into doing things that you don't want to do. They could only, you know, trick you into getting incarcerated or whatever. But I believe that the creator has my back and that I know the rules of this world enough where I don't even know if they can see me because when you're on a different level, you don't see those other people. You don't see people that are low vibrating, right? And maybe we don't see people that are vibrating way above us.
Yeah, agree.
And you know, my favorite podcast of all time is Crow 777 Radio. I don't know. You know about Crow?
No, I did see that interview that you spoke about with Awa. I think that's the only time I've seen them.
Right. So if you go to the homeschool button, which is the home, these are all worthy of teaching your children and yourselves. And here's Crow. I'm telling you, if you have kids and you're listening to this, do not send them to college. Just save up for Crow College. It's $8 a month. Okay. He puts out new episodes a week, and there's over 400 past episodes. So here's your college curriculum for a kid. They watch 5 episodes a week, right? 2 hours, 5 episodes a week, 2 new ones and 3 old ones. And at the end of every week, maybe you have a little discussion. You talk about it with your friends. That's it. That's college. And guess what? You can listen to it while you're riding a bike. You can listen to it while you're kite surfing if you got waterproof headset. You can listen to it on the beach. You can listen to it while you're hiking in the woods, while you're gardening in your garden. Okay. And you will be a more well-rounded, aware person, not afraid of this world, but knowing how to operate in it, knowing how your thoughts create your reality. This world is so easily navigated when you don't live in fear. So people say, how are you still standing around? Like, how are you still standing around? Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wasn't questioning you. I was just questioning. I'm not.
I didn't think you were questioning me. I'm just telling you that when you asked me, you know, I learned a lot of this from a lot of the guests on Crow. I've known a lot of it for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. But once you really accept it and take it in, it's amazing. You know, I worked in corporate America. I rose to the top of the company. I left. I started my own company, super successful company, doing great. And I walked away from it all because I realized that this message is important. The world is going to hell if we don't do stuff. And if just a couple thousand more people did do what I'm doing and what others are doing, the whole world will change. And guess what? More and more and more people are doing it. And the whole thing is going to tip. We're going to win. Okay. It just depends on how much craziness is going to happen in the meantime. But if you do that, you know, it's actually such a great journey. It's such a great journey. So what difference does the shape of the earth make? I still have to go to work on Monday. I don't have to go to work on Monday. Okay. I mean, I work harder than I ever worked before. I also have more free time than I've ever had before. I'm also having more fun than I've ever had before. I feel like I'm filling my purpose here and I'm more satisfied than I've ever been. So I had no idea that this existence was a possibility. I couldn't even fathom this 5 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
But it all comes together when you allow the universe, the one verse that created the world, to guide you.
Agree. It's been a hobby of mine for such a long time, and I wish I knew how to. Like, how did you get started in making it sustainable in living in being in this topic? Was it the app or was it something different?
Well, no, it was the app because I made the app and I actually made it for myself just so I can show people stuff. And everyone's like, where can I get that? And I was like, oh, you know what? I'll make it public. And I made it for free. And people were like, hey, can you add this? You should add this. You should add that. And I started adding more things. And I'm putting a couple $1,000s, then a lot of thousands of dollars into it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't afford this. I was still working at the time. And so I made it $3. I was like, let me see if people will buy it for, $2.99. And
Hmm.
people were buying it, and it's really getting popular. And then I was getting to the point where truth seeking and my business were conflicting. You
Hmm.
know how that could happen. And my partners who were asleep, they were not liking what I was doing, and I decided to walk away from the whole thing. Walked away,
Yeah, cool.
and
Okay.
and the sign I got was I went home to pay my bills. I had my utility bill, I got my cable bill, I got up pay off a credit card and stuff, and my payment from Apple had just come in. It wasn't very big, but it was literally just enough to pay my last bill. And I was like, that's a sign, right? And I said, you know what? If I do this full time, and I'm not here to sell apps, I'm here to wake people up. And the best tool
Yeah.
to wake people up with Google censorship is the app. Okay. I'm sorry. It is.
Right.
It is literally the
Yeah.
simplest, best. Everyone has it in their hand. Everyone's using it all day long. And guess what? You can now use their technology for good. And so then
Hmm.
that started working. And everyone thinks that, oh my God, 100,000 listeners, not all, it's the amount of money that I make. I make just enough to get by. And then the rest goes back into the app, right? Because the app is costing, it's shocking how much it costs every month. Shocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
But I'm not complaining. I can't wait till the app costs me $100,000 a month to run. Because you know what that means? The world is waking up. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's
Yep.
so good.
It's called the
Really
Flat
appreciate
Earth
it.
Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. All you have to remember is flatearthdave.com. The name is, everyone makes fun of it. Flatearthdave.com. The links are there. Everything is there.
Yeah. No, I'm sharing it all the time. Definitely. I think it's an amazing tool.
Appreciate it.
How do you actually know, like the how it's all moving, the sun and the moon and where
Well,
it is? It's been an amazing tool for me. Like sometimes I would take photos of the sun out in the distance in the morning to grab the crepuscular rays or whatever, and then I'll check the app to see where the sun is actually
so
like on the.
so you're in Sydney, where it's right there, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost noon right now, and the sun is high in the sky, but a little north,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
No, totally.
I'm here. It's dark. I'm here, right on this line. Sun set a while ago, right? On the East Coast
Yeah.
in America. This line is pretty straight because we're right near the equinox.
Yeah.
Okay. And when the sun goes out here, the light wraps around the dome more, makes a different shape. All of it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. The light wrapping around the edge, that must mean there is a close dome. I mean, I know there's a dome, but I don't know. And like you always say, there's speculation of how far out it is. But that in itself must
Well,
say or show that there's something quite close.
somebody just sent me this video. They're driving in the car, and this is a sundog off to the right.
Sundog, yep.
So in a second, he'll show you the sun and then the other sundog, and then I'll show you what it really looks like. So here we go. We got the sun here, the sundog there, and come on, there we go. Here's the actual sun, and then the other sundog is over here. So what do
Yeah,
we
amazing.
know in reality that kind of looks like that? And if we look,
Yeah.
I got a lighter in a bowl here. It's the same exact figuration.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's pretty amazing.
so there is something to it.
For sure. Do you think or believe that when we see double rainbows, it's a reflection of that? Because I feel like it's not
I think
high enough.
a rain. Well, no, it's not that it's high enough. I think that we're not. You know how we have our dome of vision. I think light works the same way, where it goes. We're getting a reflection off of our personal azimuthal dome of vision.
Yeah, right.
I think that's how it works,
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
And when we look at things that we can model, and then reality, it's it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the thing. There's so many things that are repeatable and um, we can replicate here on this plane, on this earth, that shows like what's happening out there. And it's that, for me, like you're saying before, we don't need to go to Antarctica, we don't need to go to the North Pole, we don't need to do any of that stuff. It's just all these little things that are obvious that we can test ourselves, that proves that we're not on a spinning ball.
Right. This is, you know, when I been skiing, I've seen this numerous times. And before I was a flat earther, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'd ski down the mountain, you know, have a cool time. It's like, yeah, that's
Same.
cool.
So will that work in the north, or do you have to be south for that?
Well, this is in the north.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
but it has to do with our dome of vision.
Yeah,
I
right.
believe.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar experience a couple of years ago before I was a flat earther. I did a time lapse video of the sun setting and didn't think anything of it at the time. And then I saw the video again once I understood what was going on, and I could see the sun shrinking to nothing. And for me, the biggest thing that happened for me then is the realization of the difference of mindset. Just like you're saying, you know, when you ski down, you just saw that and it's amazing and you just keep going. But for me, that's like really helped me to understand how my mind was before and how after, and how we see things differently, and how the globers just see the world as, you know, through the matrix mind.
Right. And it
Pretty
all
crazy.
depends on weather conditions. You know, this was filmed in a high dry place, was Afghanistan, filmed by a soldier actually, and the sun is just going away. It's not going
Yeah.
down. It should be going down. We're spinning. Okay. We're spinning. We're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, but water remains flat and no ripples. Okay. It just goes away. And, you know,
Yeah.
the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning around. Right. Maybe the
Yeah.
Beatles knew something.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
anything
Thank you
else?
so much.
All right.
No. I think that's pretty it from me. I'm just yeah, super honored to get to chat with you. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh man, I'm honored to
Continue
chat
doing
with
what you're
you.
doing.
It's good to talk to anybody that gets it, and you know, more and more people are starting to speak out. My good friend Ian Leahy over in England, he just did a presentation to a group of people on Zoom, but then we put it on YouTube, got a lot of views. If everybody can do something, you know, even if you're talking to a small group of
Yeah.
people, especially though if you can record it, right? Like some of the street activism is mind blowing, right? We have Trinity 4 Dave. He is one of the greatest street guys, but I always say, you know, but you're only talking to 15, 20 people, right? But then he filmed it and he put that real life interaction on YouTube, right? Then I put it on the app, and now it's getting, you know, many thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and that's inspiring more people to do stuff. So
Yeah, cool.
if you can inspire one person, you've done a great job.
Yeah, amazing.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
FlatEarthDave.com. You can find all my stuff there, my social media.
Yeah.
You got a YouTube. If you got a show and you want to have me on to talk to your audience, you can find a link there. Book Dave. You can find my you can find all my YouTubes, my TikToks. I got 2 TikToks now. Share my TikToks, please. Go to FlatEarthDave.com. Subscribe to both TikToks and then share them. Reload them. If you don't have an active, if you have TikTok and you don't really, you know, load your own videos on there, just go you can just, there's a button that says repost. Yeah. Repost it, then they'll start pushing it to other people. Like, oh, you know, hey,
cool.
and it goes a little viral, right? So let's get this stuff out there, and let's make 2023 the year of flat Earth, which I think it will be.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right.
See ya.
No worries. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here, and before I start, I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favourite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants, but after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.